Probably the most legendary video games to be released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System are Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country. Both transported the player to another world, filled with strange creatures and impressive locations. They showcased a ton of imagination and were quite revolutionary in their game mechanics. Both took these iconic characters to the next level, and also highlighted what this 16-bit console was capable of. But which game do I like more? Before I get into that, let's briefly go over their creation. Super Mario World was developed by Nintendo, specifically as a launch title for the SNES, with Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka involved in its creation. They wanted to take full advantage of what the SNES was capable of, including access to more colors and giving Mario and Luigi more abilities. There was a desire to give the players more free rein to explore the levels and find plenty of secrets. The decision to set Super Mario World in a new location called Dinosaur Land also allowed them to have fun with the areas Mario and Luigi would visit, along with plenty of new enemies. Dinosaur Land also provided an in-story reason for Miyamoto to introduce a new companion for the Mario Brothers, who he'd been wanting to add to the series since Super Mario Bros. 3. More on him later. With Donkey Kong Country, Nintendo took the curious step of allowing a third-party developer to create a game with one of their characters. The British video game company Rare and its founders, Tim and Chris Stamper, were given a surprising amount of freedom, albeit with some input from Miyamoto, in creating the levels, designing the heroes and enemies, and putting together the mechanics. Donkey Kong's redesign and the new characters created for the game are still used by Nintendo to this day, which shows what a remarkable job Rare did. The biggest breakthrough in Donkey Kong Country, though, comes from its 3D graphics. The idea of a game with these visuals being possible on SNES was considered unbelievable, but Rare pulled it off. Super Mario World follows the classic side-scrolling formula, but with some new devices. The open-world map, continuing something that was previously implemented in Super Mario Bros. 3, was such a clever idea. I like that the further into the game you go, the more pathways open up for you. There are also multiple ways to exit a level, leading to new areas and levels to explore. Miyamoto and Tezuka really wanted people to play the levels more than once, allowing an even more rewarding experience. The creativity of the levels is fantastic too. I like how each Mario game takes the traditional elements like overworld, underworld, and underwater levels and plays around with them. The addition of haunted houses, with Boo's as the focus, is one such example, and I love how they're essentially puzzles where you have to figure out how to find the exits. Donkey Kong Country similarly crafts a truly unique world, with the Stampers wanting players to learn how things work as they progress through. For example, there are multiple levels where jumping through barrels is a requirement, while others have an emphasis on swinging on vines. There is a good variety of levels, from jungles to mines to underwater. The levels continually keep you on your toes, especially the ones with platforms, which ups the excitement level. Both games also gave the Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong new friends to help them on their way. Super Mario World was the first game to feature Yoshi, and he immediately proved to be lovable and helpful. He becomes especially important in eating many of the enemies or stomping on them, and he's a good lifeline, as getting hit by an obstacle often just results in him running off, and depending on the level, it's easy to hop back on him again. Although I cannot help but feel guilty in those moments where I have to jump off. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong Country marked the debut appearance of Diddy Kong, who aids him on his journey. The ability to easily switch between Donkey and Diddy was a great idea on Rare's part, as they do have different skills. While Donkey Kong is good with the bigger enemies, Diddy can jump higher. There are other animal companions in the game too, including a rhino who can ram through enemies and a frog who can leap to amazing heights. The enemies encountered by our heroes are also memorable, and both games definitely foisted plenty of them on players. Super Mario World does contain many of the enemies Nintendo players have become accustomed to, like Koopa Troopers and Piranha Plants. However, a whole bunch of new obstacles were also added. Most of these are unsurprisingly dinosaur-themed, but we also get the Monty Moles, the disappearing and reappearing wizard Magic Koopa, and the caterpillar-like Wigglers. All of them have deservedly become mainstays of the Super Mario games, and provide their own unique challenges for Mario and Luigi. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong Country brought its own villains to the table. Most of them are the reptilian Kremlings, And there are also beavers, snakes, and vultures that get in Donkey and Diddy's way. One enemy that appears in one level that I always found clever are the Rock Crocs, who only come alive when a green light shines on them. There are also these beavers who live inside a wheel, and some even go immediately after the Kongs if you pass them. Super Mario World also provides our favorite plumbers with some new power-ups. We have classics like the Fire Flower and Star, along with the cape that allows them to spin attack and fly through the air. Although I'm sorry to say the Frog and Tanuki costumes from Super Mario Bros. 3 are absent. We also get other neat surprises, like a power-up that turns you into a balloon, allowing you to soar up even higher. Aside from the animals, Donkey and Diddy Kong don't get power-ups, but the game will occasionally give them things like tires to help them out. Regarding secrets, Super Mario World has so many hidden areas, the most expansive being the Star World. Playing all the levels within the Star World is like a bonus game within the game, and beating all of them even changes the entire appearance of Dinosaur Land as well as some enemies. Donkey Kong Country has its fair share of secret areas too, which do help in boosting your life count. Both games provide their own degree of difficulty. Super Mario World does a good job of starting you off nice and easy, and then getting more challenging as you go through the game. The first difficult level for me is probably Butter Bridge 1, which is set to auto-scroll and has platforms you have to keep at the right level. I was able to beat it, but not without some practice. For the most part though, Super Mario World is an overall pleasing experience, but thankfully with a decent amount of exciting obstacles. Donkey Kong Country is the trickier game though. The levels I struggled with were plentiful, and it takes an enormous amount of trial and error. The most frustrating for me are definitely the minecart levels. They require being extremely precise as you make your way through the tracks. The second minecart level was one that really had me yelling in frustration. I did finally beat it, but it took me many tries. In fact, I have to confess that while I have beaten Super Mario World, I've yet to complete Donkey Kong Country. I'm sure I will someday, but that Platform Perils level is a toughie. Then there are the graphics, which are superb in both games. Super Mario World took full advantage of the SNES to expand on the colorful and charming feel of the Mushroom Kingdom. The entire game is pleasant to look at and incredibly designed. There's so much life in every level, and the many enemies vary between adorable and menacing. Of the many Mario designs over the years, his appearance in Super Mario World might be the most iconic. And when it comes to 3D games, Donkey Kong Country has to be one of the most important ever created. Rare really outdid themselves when they took on this assignment. The entire game just pops, and 26 years later, the visuals still hold up. When the game was unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show a few months before its release, the audience assumed it was a preview for the Nintendo 64, and was shocked to find out Donkey Kong Country was, in fact, an SNES title. That's a credit to how good the game looks. And finally, I have to talk about the music. Koji Kondo, as always, composed some wonderful melodies for Super Mario World, adapting some of his familiar themes to the SNES, while also creating new ones. Kondo just has a wonderful talent for giving the Mushroom Kingdom that extra magical feeling, but he also knows how to make things intense when need be. The music for Donkey Kong Country was primarily composed by David Wise, with additional pieces by Evelyn Fisher and Robin Beanland. They brought the right atmosphere to the game, whether it was a fun jungle rhythm or the relaxing aquatic ambiance that accompanies the underwater levels. And who can forget that celebratory little tune that plays whenever you beat a level? So to conclude, which game do I prefer? Both are definitely classics of the Super Nintendo and deserving of praise, but I'm going to say Super Mario World. Maybe I'm biased because of my general love of the Mario games, but there's such a joyful quality to Super Mario World. The second you press start, it really is like being transported to another world. The gameplay is wonderful, the various creatures are inventive, and the amount of secrets hidden throughout are incredibly clever. Everything about Super Mario World just clicks, and it's a game I'm always happy to return to again and again. Plus it brought Yoshi into our lives, and who doesn't love that adorable dinosaur? Donkey Kong Country is certainly a great game though. The visuals are amazing, the atmosphere is impressive, and the lead primates have a lot of personality as they roll and jump all over the jungle collecting bananas. Thank you to Shigeru Miyamoto, Takashi Tezuka, Tim Stamper, and Chris Stamper, and the enormously talented artists, programmers, and developers at Nintendo and Rare respectively, for their landmark work on Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country. These two video games will remain timeless classics for generations. Now let me know in the comments which game you prefer, and I'll see you next time.